Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Financial Prepper and I'm Stacy. Today is Friday, it's May the 2nd, 2025, and it's about 4:30 p.m. Central Time. I wanted to come to you guys after the COMEX had closed so I could give you the price, that what it's going to be for silver and gold spot prices, including platinum, we'll include that today, all the way until Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Time. Kind of go over a little bit what we discussed yesterday so you can compare the pricing. Silver kind of dropped, gold held steady. A little bit maybe what's affecting it. If you guys saw the market this morning, Chris and I were having coffee. Before the market even opened this morning, it was going up. We had Trump come out with the budget, his budget 2026. We've got the Fed meeting next week. We've got OPEC talking about maybe an emergency meeting Saturday versus Monday. Let's see, we had some jobs come out. We're saying, hey, it's a little better, not as much as we were expecting, but better than what they were expecting. So all these things are happening. And when you compile all of them together, you kind of watch how it affects the market, even gold and silver. So let's get into it a little bit. Let's start with spot prices for gold, silver, and platinum. So yesterday, we did a video and we kind of recapped April, and we ended yesterday when I was talking about May the 1st, silver was $32.56. Well, you guys, today it took a little bit of a hit, $32.15. Granted, that's not a lot, but still, we went down just a little bit. Interestingly, gold stayed about the same. When we closed, or yesterday when I was talking in the video, it was about $3,245. So today, which it's closed, it will be this way until Sunday, as I said, at 5 p.m. Central Time, we're $3,246.80. So gold is heading steady. I mean, it is staying, it bumped above the 33, came back down, and it's holding about where we are right now. And there's a lot going on with gold. I mentioned yesterday a little bit that Trump made a statement about gold, but the United States has purchased more gold since January than, I'm not even sure when we've purchased this much gold. And other countries, as you guys know, have been requesting that their gold be released from the New York vault, the London vault, and they've been requesting for quite some time now. There's an interesting video Andy did, and I'll put a link in the description, where he really believes that we're going to go to some kind of gold back currency, something again. You'll have to listen to the video because he explains it way better than I explain it, but it was a very good video, and I think you guys will find it interesting. And also, the ratio right now between gold and silver is 100 to 1, so we're still staying at that 100 mark. You guys, if you remember, years ago it was 30, then it creeped up, and we were talking about 80. We were like, oh my goodness, it's 80 to 1. We're at 100 to 1 now, and been holding about that for a little while now. So some of the things that's been happening that possibly could have affected the market, I'm not going to say positive. Yes, it did, it did not. But I look at it and I kind of wonder, does this affect the market? It has to some degree. For example, Trump's 2026 budget proposal calls for $163 billion in cuts to federal spending. However, when you go down here, it says that it's going to be discretionary budget, but it's going to protect Homeland Security, veterans, seniors, law enforcement, and so on. However, it's going to increase the defense spending 13% to bring it to $1.1 trillion for the next fiscal year. All right, think about this for a minute. He came out with his proposal. Some of the stocks went up, and I need to get on there and check and see if this is correct, but I would bet you anything some of these defense stocks went up, because guess who's going to get that money? These defense contractors, these third-party defense contractors and different things like that, civilian contractors that work for the government. I used to know a lot of them. So that is what's going on with the budget. Of course, he's going to have to get it passed. We'll see what happens. But then also we talk about the jobs. So I think it was a little bit of a surprise. They said added 177,000 jobs, as the employment rate is still, I think, around 4.2. However, they thought it was going to be 185, but they revised it back in March to about 135,000. So it actually came in a little bit better than anticipated. Once again, I think that probably would affect the market. However, on the heels of that, it says here that, find this article here, but consumer pullbacks are, you can see it in certain categories. It said fast food chains, beverage giants, consumer companies underscore the persistent financial strain on low and middle income consumers. I'll give you a little bit of some stats and what companies are saying. On Thursday, which was yesterday, McDonald's reported the same store sales that tumbled 3.6 in the United States, the largest year-over-year decline since the second quarter of 2020. I don't want to read all these boring stats to you, but you can get on here and look. They're saying they're trying to navigate either through the toughest market. Citibank said that it will come as little surprise that fast food chains because they're struggling. Wendy's said the same thing. They're slashing its outlook. Chipotle missed the first quarter. They're saying they're also. Starbucks is saying that they have stumbled after the fourth straight quarter of declining. It goes on and on. Yum Brands, KFC, Taco Bell. So they are obviously struggling. And yes, we've got some great job reports, but if you guys notice that the lower income, the middle income, they are still struggling with what's going on. Then on top of that, let's see, you've got OPEC. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about. Let's see. So anyway, we have the jobs, and then we have the what I wanted to talk about, the funding. Then we have Trump terminates, this is what it was, federal funding for the National Public Radio and Public Broadcasting Service. So this is another cut in the government spending. And you guys, I don't know what you guys think about this, but I personally don't think the government should have any funding with any kind of social media, any kind of media, any kind of news. They should be a third party on their own, have their own opinion, do their own research. We do. I don't necessarily just take someone's word. I'm reading the Kash Patel book right now. Very interesting book. I used to work for the FBI, if you guys know, and some of that stuff he is saying is spot on, and it's pretty scary. But I think that I'm glad that he is slashing their funding, because they should not be controlled by the government, and what they report should not be ruled whether they get funding or not. So I'm glad to see that happening. Let's see, the next one I wanted to talk about is OPEC moves up meeting to discuss oil production quotas. They were supposed to meet Monday. However, they're going to be meeting Saturday. You guys pay attention to this, because when the market opens Monday, it possibly could well affect the market. You got budget that just came out with Trump, which could affect the market again Monday. You got OPEC that's meeting Saturday, which could affect the market come Monday. We have got the Fed meeting, which they're going to start Tuesday and Wednesday. If you look at the Bloomberg calendar, they're going to be they're going to tell us if they're raising interest rates, which they probably will not. But Trump's putting pressure on them. They're also going to come out and they're going to say, they're going to give a speech. Let's see, where's my Bloomberg calendar? They're going to give a statement, rate decision, and a press conference. So May the 7th, pay attention, because once again, it probably will affect the markets to some degree. And that just seems to be how it plays out every time Jerome Powell opens his mouth. Sometimes I do not understand what he says. I'm going to be honest. I try to decipher. Sometimes I get on other people's websites to see what they've been able to obtain from his speech, because sometimes it just does not make sense to me. And I think the final thing that I wanted to run by you guys was, let's see, I think that was it, the budget. Yeah, the budget was pretty much. So, and platinum ended at $9.76.10. So you guys, that is what it's going to be until Sunday when it opens back up at 5 p.m. If you guys got my premium price list, you know the specials that we have. I still have the silver bullets that they're in the shape of a silver bullet, and it's actually a 1 ounce piece of silver. It's really cool. It's a little bit pricey. I think it's like $8 or something for premium, but they're really, really cool looking. That's it for the wrap up for Friday. I will be limited hours tomorrow on Saturday, the 3rd. I will be off the 4th. However, we will be back full schedule on Monday, but I will try to take calls tomorrow. So if you miss me, just bear with me and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. We have some stuff that's going to be going on tomorrow. But you guys have an incredible weekend. And as Chris would say, have an awesome, awesome day. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.